Hey folks, I'm here to show you some pickups from the other day. Uh, the way this video is gonna go, we're gonna start with some gospel and contemporary Christian. We're gonna do some genre jumping. I got a jazz fusion album in here. Then we're gonna go to hard rock, and then the big finale will be a couple of incredible R&B albums that I got. So a little bit for everybody here, and let's get started. So first up, and let me say this too: this haul that I've got here was kind of a replacement haul. I was expecting to go to half price books and music, big shindig down at the Kentucky Expo Center this weekend, and then I got the dates wrong. It's not for another 3 weeks. So I went up to the Highlands, and that's where I got all this stuff. So, first up, Praise 2. This is on Maranatha Records. Back in the day, I might have overlooked something like this, thinking, well, let me show you the nice little. It's kind of a cool picture. But anyway, I might have overlooked this, just thinking it's a generic praise album. I'm not really into that. But the musicianship on some of these early Maranatha albums is really good. And and of course, I looked on the inside. Let me show you the inside gatefold, and there's a list of musicians over here. Now, I don't recognize all of them, but I recognize a few of them. I knew Bill Batstone was kind of a praise and worship guy back in the day. Jerry Chamberlain played in Daniel Amos Band. And as I scanned down through here, I saw who else caught my attention? Al Perkins, who I believe was in the Flying Burrito Brothers. And of course, he played with a lot of people, Emmylou, and I think he might have been in. He's played some with Chris Hillman and some of those bands. And of course, down here is Terry Taylor, who of course is the front man and principal songwriter for the Daniel Amos Band. So yeah, this was in the 99-cent bin, so yeah, I grabbed it. See that Maranatha label. So yeah, I don't anymore. I don't underestimate these Maranatha recordings. Then next up is the Masters 5. This is, from my understanding, almost kind of like a Southern Gospel supergroup. It's primarily guys from the Statesman Quartet and the Blackwood Brothers. And of course, listed here is Hovey Lister, J.D. Sumner, James Blackwood, Jake Hess, and Sean Nielsen. And even though I'm not the biggest Southern Gospel guy in the world, names like Hovey Lester, who I believe I've heard Russ Taff mention, and Jake Hess, those I know. So, and I thought I might have had their debut because from the cover it just looks like the Masters 5. But I got to looking. Their debut came out in '81. This came out in '83. So, what's the deal? Well, I pulled the album out, and it's apparently if let's see if I can show you on the label. If you look close, course, this never goes smoothly when you're on camera. If you look close, it'll say The Masters 5 featuring. Well, that title featuring means it's their 5th album. And they must have really been cranking them out to get from 1 to 5 in 2 years. But yeah, there's a picture of the guys on the back. The Masters 5. Next, I found 2 albums by this next artist, and I was a little surprised because I knew I don't know a whole lot about this artist. I know that his name's Don Francisco, and he, to me, is best known for the album He's Alive, which is kind of an Easter classic. But I got to looking on Wikipedia. He's actually from here in Louisville. He was born here in Louisville. So I found his first 2 albums. The Brother of the Sun. He is known for kind of having a real bare bones acoustic, just acoustic, not a lot of modern, production. And this, just a plain sleeve, but it's on New Pax Records. And this came out in 76. This is a 76 record. Then I also found his second album, Forgiven. This one came out in 77, and again on New Pax Records. So Louisville born Don Francisco. Picked up some Dan Fogelberg in in a sidewalk sale not too long ago. I was picking them up for I think it was either a quarter or 50 cents a piece. Well, this was in the 99-cent bin, and I didn't remember having picked it up, so I took a chance and just grabbed it if I've got a copy of it already. If I had a copy in that first batch. This is Phoenix. Dan Fogelberg, Phoenix. And it is on Full Moon. The next album that I picked up, got this because, again, I don't know a lot of the players on it. It's a group called Sea Level, except for the drummer, Joe English, who played with Paul McCartney in Wings, and then did some Christian rock albums with his own band, the Joe English Band. There's Joe, right there. And that's Sea Level, On the Edge. On Capricorn Records. Then this is the Jazz Fusion album I was talking about. This is Passport Jazz. is the label, I guess. It's Scott Henderson and Tribal Tech, Spears. I have got a lot of Scott Henderson on CD. I like his projects. He's got some pretty interesting music. Let's see. I don't recognize any of the players. I don't recognize this album. I have several of his Tribal Tech recordings. There you go, on Passport. Whoop. Well, no matter which way I turn it. Passport. And that's Scott Henderson and Tribal Tech, Spears. Scott Henderson is a guitarist, and yeah, he just puts out some really cool and interesting projects. I think my favorite album by him, he did a project with Thelma Houston, and it's got some nice stuff on it. The next one, now we start getting into the rock. Bachman Turner Overdrive. I've got another one of theirs that I really enjoyed, so I picked this up. Most of these albums just cost a couple bucks. There's the gatefold. This is Bachman Turner Overdrive. What is the name of this? Is it just self-titled? Because I don't see one. I see Mercury, but is that the label? Yeah, Mercury is the label. So this must be self-titled Bachman Turner Overdrive. I should have looked at the discography and seen if this was their debut. There's the back. I'm not real familiar with this. There was another Bachman Turner Overdrive that I picked up recently that I really enjoyed, though. This next band I don't know except for the VC, and so I'm interested in giving this a spin and seeing what's up. And this is Slade. Keep your hands off my power supply. I always thought that was an intriguing cover. And this is on CBS Associated. Kind of odd to see a CBS record not on a red label. I keep hearing about Slade, so I thought I would give him a try. Now, the next band, these purchases, there's only one shout out to give, and that's Greg the Egg, Blackmore Rules. I'm pretty sure this is a Canadian band, the Headpins. And I found a couple of their albums in really nice condition. It's got a little cut, but it seems, pretty good shape otherwise. Here's the back. On MCA Records. Nice looking vinyl. And what's the title on this one? I guess this is just the Headpins. Oh, Head Over Heels. I did not see that on the front cover. but that's what the label says. And then another head pins. Turn It Loud. Kind of really dig that cover with the speaker. And I'm really anxious to get these cleaned. Well, that's more of a custom looking label, isn't it? Head pins. Turn It Loud. Wow, we're starting to get up there in time a little bit. Now, let me speed this up a little bit. Pat Travers. This is another Greg the Egg influence. Well, he and Scott Waters both talk about Pat Travers a lot. So, I try to pick up some Pat whenever I see him. I've been finding some Pat Travers lately. I don't know what's up. It's got the Polydor sleeve and on Polydor Records. Okay, and that was mainly at one shop. Now the next couple, this was at another shop, but still some really good stuff. This is Blood Rock Passage, kind of a beat up copy a little bit. See a lot of wear, and the sides are a little, but I didn't pay that much for it. And the vinyl looked good. Vinyl looks real good, and that's what mattered to me. And I may eventually try to get a better copy, but it would, a good copy right now would cost me maybe twice as much as what I paid for this. And the main reason I got this, I don't know any of the players except this guy, Warren Ham, who has played with, sang for Kerry Livgren and AD. One of my favorite vocalists, one of the most underrated vocalists on the planet. Listen to Kerry Livgren /AD. The title of the CD's Prime Mover. You've probably seen me show it a number of times on this channel. Great album, and his vocals are amazing. I can't wait to get this cleaned and listen to what he did on this. The next one, very unique. I've not shown him much on this channel, but in the past I've gotten a lot of his stuff, especially on CD. But Dave Grissom, this is a split album. This is on one side it's bluegrass, doggrass, Dave Grissom's Doggrass. On the other side it's Dave Grissom, Dog Jazz. And Grissom, I have a lot of Grissom stuff solo. I have a lot of stuff that he did with Jerry Garcia back in the day. So there are all kinds of great players on this album. So I'm very, very thrilled to have found this. It is on. I have cleaned this. I just haven't. It's on Warner Brothers. I haven't spun it yet, though. It's coming real soon. This next one I did spin, and let me tell you, wow, this is the big finale. These two albums are. I was very, very pleased to find these. Aretha, yeah, very appropriately named. The lady who was behind the counter and sold this to me said she loved this cover because of the kind of saucy look that Aretha was giving the photographer. Yeah, very cool cover. Let me tell you, this particular album is Aretha. It's Aretha Franklin in person with her quartet, and that means she's singing jazz. And It's a very young Aretha singing jazz. I think this is like her 7th album. It's on Columbia. This is a great album. Let's pull it so I can show you the back. Very glad to figure I better start grabbing Aretha Franklin stuff when I can find it, because since she passed, I'm assuming that collectors will be trying to get her stuff, and so yeah, she's the second one. Coming up, Aretha Franklin, Soul Sister. I have not listened to this one yet. This is also on Columbia. I have cleaned it, but I just haven't spun it yet. There you go. Columbia. You can see it's a mono recording. There's the back. Great cover. And that is what I picked up the other day. I heard you, Jake. Where are you? I don't know these goofy cats. There you are. Want to say hi? Huh? Want to say hi? No? All right. Well, we've kept you long enough. Been trying to keep these videos a little shorter, but that was a big haul. So for me, for Jake, we're gonna let you go, and we hope you're having a great weekend. And go Fins!